What's up? It has been a minute. Goodness gracious. Hello, I am here in Vancouver, BC, Canada. It is really lovely outside, but that's okay. Like I said in the What I Miss video, I actually really missed rain and whatnot, so it's been quite lovely having that, to be completely honest. But here we are. Sorry for not being active on YouTube or really anywhere else for a while. I thought I was only going to take 1 or 2 weeks off, like towards the end of the season and like my first week back, because I wanted some time to just, you know, like wind down and enjoy my last bit of time at the pole and whatnot, and then just be able to enjoy the world freely, if you will. That was a squeak. Little dog. She's trying to squeak. Never had to worry about animal noises while making a video before. Also, there's construction. Like, what is going on? This is real world video making. It's a lot different. Anyways, so I apologize for the extra long absence on this channel. That was not the intent, but it's okay. Here we are. Got lots of stuff coming up, but we're gonna get to that at the end of the video. But the main part of this video was to talk about what I've been doing. A quick little recap of what I've been up to since I left the ice. And before we get to that, I need to say thank you. Thank you for 1,000 subscribers. We finally hit it. That was one of my big goals before leaving Antarctica, was to hit 1,000, and did it like with 2 or 3 days remaining. Like, it's insane. I have a small little idea for a potential giveaway. I need to look into the rules and laws and whatnot, and what that entails, but it's a cool little South Pole souvenir. So if you're not subscribed, make sure you go ahead and click that button right now, just because you'll want to know when that little giveaway video comes out, because, you know, the timing probably won't be very long. But anyways, thank you so much. I cannot tell you how much it means to me. That is a huge milestone to cross, and it's, you know, we're continually growing every single day still, even though I haven't been posting, which has been really special. So yeah. Anyways, let's get on with a little bit of story time. So this video is going to involve a lot of pictures. I didn't really take much video while I was traveling. I did do a little bit, but for the most part, it'll be photos. But on October 23rd, I left the South Pole. Wow, it was surreal. I mean, getting those first couple real planes in with people, and it was a bizarre feeling. I will talk about that more in a later video, but it was insane, to be completely honest with you, but also incredible. But on the 23rd, I left the South Pole, and we arrived at McMurdo in the evening, which gave me a chance to go meet some of my friends at one of the bars, and it was just the most lovely little catch up and hangout, and it was so good. And the next day I woke up really early, went and took care of some other things around the station, you know, talking about coming back later, potentially in different positions, and, you know, just figuring out my life as far as Antarctica goes. But then later that afternoon, on the 24th, I left Antarctica. That was pretty crazy. And we got to Christchurch, New Zealand. By the time we actually arrived, it was past midnight, so it was a pretty late one, and the first thing we did was try to find some food, which we found at a bar called the Rock Pool. It's one of the few places that actually sells food, it seems, that late at night. But yeah, I'll tell you, that was also a really bizarre feeling, but once again, we'll go into that a little bit more later. But yeah, basically that weekend I just spent in Christchurch. I didn't really want to do much. I just wanted to spend some time hanging out and eating all the food and drinking craft beer and things that we don't have down in Antarctica, and going for a run at sea level. Oh man, yeah, all these things I just wanted to do. So the weekend I spent just chilling. So on the 29th, I picked up a little camper van that had, you know, full kitchen and bed, and because it had a porta potty on board, it was eligible for what's called freedom camping in New Zealand, which basically means unless there's posted rules against it, you can basically camp wherever you want. It's pretty awesome. And so I had some big plans. Wanted to go hiking, wanted to go camping, get out in nature, and do all that stuff. So I went off by myself, got out of Christchurch. And the first thing, man, I drove on the Inland Scenic Road in through the middle of New Zealand, past Lake Tekapo, and eventually to Lake Pukaki, which is where I stayed the night. This is it. This is my campsite. There's literally nobody else here in any direction. The road's over there, but you can't really see it. And I've just got this view right here, all to myself. And, it was everything I wanted. I mean, I wanted that experience of just like being able to open your door to the van while you're in bed and just like having the most incredible view, which is what happened that next morning, as you can see by this incredible photo. But even before that, I found a spot where I was completely by myself and I got to make dinner. This is just stunning. And my dinner's pretty much done. Just toasting some buns here, got my burgers, got some toppings, got some beer. Oh yeah, it's gonna be good. It was a fantastic evening. It was exactly what I needed. And then yeah, the next day I actually drove around the lake and went up to the north of it, which is where the Mount Cook National Park is. And yeah, I really wanted to go hiking, but turns out the weather was absolute garbage. I mean, it was raining literally sideways in the park. So I went to the visitor center, asked the guy like, hey man, where can I go hiking? I really would like to go up, but I understand if I go up, I will be in the clouds and I won't be able to see anything. So he's like, yeah man, just go down this Hooker Valley track. So, you know, it's down in the valley, you get to go over some hanging bridges, and holy crap, I was drenched. I mean, at the end of the hike, I was literally pouring water out of my waterproof boots, because turns out waterproof material also keeps water in. Yeah, wow, it was a hike, and some of the bridges, like the amount of wind that was blowing, the bridges were a little bit freaky. Yeah, but it was good. But yeah, then I got back in the car, tried to dry up and switch my clothes, and then I went to go to Dunedin, which is on the east coast, New Zealand, on the South Island. Didn't make it on the first day just because I was having a bit of a late start with the hike and all that stuff, so I stopped somewhere halfway and just stayed in a little holiday park. It was actually quite nice. I was able to hang up all my clothes and tried to get them to dry, and made some noodles, and yeah, had a pretty lovely evening. They had some pretty solid Wi-Fi in the whole campground, so I was just laying in my little camper van bed using the internet, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, then the next day I drove to Dunedin, walked around the town a little bit that day, and then mostly I was there to go to the Spates Brewery, go on a little tour. I actually ended up getting quite lucky. I went on the last tour of the day and I was the only one on the tour. So it was literally me, a tour guide, and a guy he was training, which was pretty cool. So I mean, I got a very personal tour, got to ask as many questions as I wanted. And at the very end, they do like a 30-minute tasting of the different beers. And they were saying that usually every person gets to taste maybe 4 of the beers, because a lot of the groups will have 10 to 15 people. I tasted all of them, and some of them twice. So yeah, I definitely had a great time. I left there and then went to dinner, and it was absolutely lovely. But then I had a pretty early night. It was actually Halloween that night, but turns out Halloween's not a huge thing in New Zealand. But yeah, the next morning I left really early to drive into Cromwell, which is in central Otago, which is a wonderful wine region in New Zealand, and I wanted to check out that area. It is kind of like the Pinot Noir mecca of New Zealand, and that is my favorite grape varietal, so I figured I need to go check it out. So I signed up for a really cool sounding wine tour, and yeah, turns out it was. So I got to my hotel, which by the way, I paid $20 for a 5-star hotel with a balcony and all this other stuff. I mean, it was pretty sweet. But yeah, so then I went on the wine tour. I got picked up right after I checked in, basically. I got a chance to just change, really, that's it. And then I went on a wine tour all day. We went to 5 different wineries, tasted a bunch of wine, had an incredible lunch. The funny thing was the very first winery we went to was a winery called Scott Base. And they actually make all the wine for the Kiwi Antarctic base down by McMurdo, Scott Base. But yeah. And the next morning I got up really early and basically just drove back to Christchurch. And then I had one more night in Christchurch before I left for my next adventure. And that night actually happened to be the Rugby World Cup final. Had a lot of fun. And then I basically got back to my hostel at like 1 a.m. and then I had to be at the airport at about 3:30 a.m. So I pretty much just packed up my stuff and put some stuff away in a storage locker for the time. And then I flew up to Auckland, where I met my mom and my stepdad for a little North Island, Bay of Islands trip, which was super lovely. They rented a car, and yeah, basically they landed right before I did in Auckland, so they got through customs and everything, and then found me, and we got a car, and then we drove up, and yeah, first night we stayed in a little town called Wellsford, and then the next day we basically just made our way slowly up the east coast of the part north of Auckland to make it up into the far north, is what it's called, and we stayed in a little hotel, bread and breakfast type place in a little town called Kaitaia, which is one of the last places before the cape that goes up to the farthest part of New Zealand, which was the goal for the next day. We actually booked a little tour where we went on a 4-wheel drive bus, which was a blast. They had a really funny tour guide, and we're driving up, and we actually drove out on the 90-mile beach, which is on the west coast. And basically, yeah, we just drove up. It's technically only 90 kilometers. There was something funny with the naming there, but we drove up the 90-mile beach, and yeah, it was really cool. And on that trip, we did some really fun stuff as well, kind of like the sandboarding or sand, yeah. I mean, we laid down, it was on a toboggan type deal, but sandboarding down a big sand dune, which was a good time. And then we had a wonderful little lunch by the water and went swimming, and yeah, it was really lovely. Then the bus took us back to our accommodation. We stayed there for the night, went out to eat, you know, did those kind of things, caught up. And then the next day we left pretty early to go down the west side of the northern part of the North Island. Jeez. Okay, yeah, to go down the west side because we were driving through the kauri forest, which are these massive trees, all like crazy old. We saw the oldest and the tallest tree in New Zealand, which were like 2,000 and 4,000 years old, and I mean, it was pretty stunning. Yeah, really beautiful. And then after that, we went to another little bit of accommodation. We stayed at a holiday park, which had these little cabins, so we stayed in one of those. Went on a nighttime walk where they generally are often able to find the kiwi bird, but unfortunately we were not able to do so. But it was still really cool, you know, walking around in the forest for about an hour and a half. We saw glowworms and possum and all kinds of stuff. So it was still a lot of fun, and we heard kiwis. We definitely heard kiwis. They're not very big birds, but man, do they make a sound. But yeah, then the next morning we had to wake up really early because I had to get back to the airport. The fam was driving down further south, and so it was a very convenient time to drop me off in Auckland on the way there, and so I could fly back to Christchurch. So that is exactly what I did. And then I had one last night in Christchurch, one last night in New Zealand, met up with my buddy, and we just, you know, hung out for the evening. And then, yeah, then I went back to my hostel, went to bed, and I got up early once again to start the trip back to North America. And about 24, 25, I don't know how long it was, hours later, I landed in Seattle. I was just there for the weekend. It was really lovely. I'd never been before, so that was really cool. I spent a lot of time sightseeing, so I went up on the Space Needle and Pike Place Market and ate a lot of good food, visited some breweries, did a really awesome brunch. But yeah, I had 3 nights there, which was quite lovely. And now I'm here in Vancouver, BC, Canada, for the next 3 weeks or so. Don't have too much stuff planned while I'm here. You know, I'm gonna be doing some stuff on the weekends, but a lot of times, most of the time, I'm just gonna be catching up on editing and getting things ready, and yeah, it'll be pretty good. I'm excited. I'm happy to be here, and I'm just kind of like a house. I get to cook. I haven't done that in ages. It is raining outside, which is obviously kind of crappy weather, but also, like I said many times, I really missed rain, so I'm pretty happy about that. Yeah, what's next, I guess, is the next question. So as far as this channel goes, like I've said, it'll be Antarctica videos. I still have like, I think 8 videos or something like that recorded, so that's what's gonna be coming directly next on this channel. And on Instagram, just today was my last South Pole post that I will be making on Instagram. And from then on out, it'll be new stuff, like stuff that I took in New Zealand. I got some really cool photos there, so I'm really excited to share that. And yeah, there'll be more photos from here in Seattle and all that other stuff following that as well. And also on Instagram, I'm back with doing stories now. So if you want to see kind of more of a daily life and what that looks like, then check out my Instagram stories. But then yeah, Twitter is also a thing that you can follow me on. I'm not particularly good at tweeting as far as like just actually physically doing it. Something I'm trying to get better at though. So if you haven't followed me there, check me out, have a conversation, say hi, do the things. But for me personally, yeah, like I said, I'm here for the next 3 weeks, and then I am actually heading over to Southeast Asia in the beginning of December. Starting off in Thailand just for a few days, but then I'm heading to Indonesia to go on a 4-day liveaboard dive trip off of Flores Island. So we'll be around Komodo Island and all that stuff. So yeah, really looking forward to that. Looking forward to getting back into the water and seeing the underwater world, if you will. So. And then after that, I don't really know what's happening. So I'm gonna figure that out as we go. But yeah, that's kind of it. Rangy, come here. Yeah, see, this little dog here has been squeaking this little toy during this whole video, but she's a cutie, so you can't be mad at her. But yeah, that is all. It's funny, the voice changes as soon as there's the dog. Then you speak like this. Yes, you do. Mwah. You are a cute little doggo. This is not my dog. But she's cute. All right. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and also for, you know, we got there to the 1,000 mark. So next up, 10,000, right? Yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much. If you like this video, you know what to do. Make sure you go down and hit the like button. Subscribe if you are not. Comment, share, chat with me, do the things, and yeah, I'll see you guys next week. I don't think I can reach the lens because this doggo. All right, wait. That was that. Now you can play with the squeaky all you want. Yeah. All the squeakers for you. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. All the squeakers for you. Hello, little dog. Hello, little dog. Okay. Can you get down on your own? You want me to? Okay, I'm gonna. There you go.